Ballon d'Or is only 1 week away, and football fans everywhere are losing their minds trying to figure out who's gonna walk up on that stage and lift the golden ball. This year doesn't feel like a predictable one at all. It's not a Messi versus Ronaldo era where we could roll dice between two names and be right half the time. Now, this year feels like the ending of a Netflix thriller where you're not sure if the main character makes it out alive or gets betrayed in the final 5 minutes. If you've been following the conversation online, bookmakers, pundits, journalists, and fans are all pulling in different directions. The most likely winners, according to the experts, are Ousmane Dembélé, Lamine Yamal, and Kylian Mbappé. These three have been everywhere this season, and the reasons are clear. Dembélé is finally having his redemption arc at PSG. Yamal is rewriting what it means to be a teenage wonderkid at Barcelona, and Mbappé has the spotlight of Real Madrid and is delivering as always. But before we talk about what makes them the frontrunners, let me say this. There's a twist in this story. Fans everywhere are whispering one name louder and louder: Raphinha. Yes, the same Raphinha many wrote off a season ago is now trending in polls, dominating fan votes, and climbing into the conversation as the people's Ballon d'Or pick. So this video is going to take you through the whole drama. We'll break down why the favorites are ahead, why the fans are backing Raphinha, and by the end, we might just have to admit that the experts could be wrong and the people might be right. Let's start with Ousmane Dembélé because, honestly, his story this season is giving Hollywood scriptwriters competition. For years, the conversation around Dembélé was injuries, inconsistency. Oh, he's talented, but now? He's finally showing what Barcelona once paid big money for, but this time in a PSG shirt. He's been tearing up defenses with those trademark dribbles where defenders look like they're trying to catch Wi-Fi signal. The numbers back it too. His assists are up, his chance creation is elite, and he's been delivering in big matches instead of disappearing. The biggest factor, though, is the redemption arc. Voters love a story, and Dembélé has one. From what could have been to look at what he's doing now, it's the kind of narrative that sticks in people's minds when they cast votes. If the Ballon d'Or was based purely on the, oh my god, he actually pulled that off dribbles, Dembélé would already have 2 or 3 golden balls by now. And honestly, you can't blame people for putting him as the favorite because this season, he's mixed flair with productivity, which is something people doubted he'd ever do consistently. Then we have Lamine Yamal, and I don't even know where to start with this kid. 17 years old and already making grown men cry on the pitch. At 17, I was struggling to cook instant noodles without burning them. Meanwhile, Yamal is carrying Barcelona through big games like it's nothing. He's scoring, assisting, and producing those highlight reel moments that make people stop scrolling on TikTok. The most ridiculous part is how clutch he's been. Big matches, pressure situations, hostile away grounds. He doesn't look phased. He looks like he was built in a football lab and injected with ice water in his veins. The narrative here is obvious. Prodigy rewriting history. Every time a 17-year-old plays like he's been in the Champions League for 10 years, voters remember it. If Ballon d'Or voters are even half sentimental, Yamal has a strong case. He's also got that Messi comparison floating around him. I know, it's unfair to throw that on a teenager, but people are doing it anyway, and it fuels hype. Hype matters. And of course, you can't talk about favorites without mentioning Kylian Mbappé. The man is practically a Ballon d'Or finalist by default. He moved to Real Madrid and brought with him all the expectations in the world. You know the script. He arrives, the Bernabeu holds its breath, the spotlight is on him, and then boom, goals, pace, dominance. Mbappé is always in the conversation because he consistently delivers at the highest level. His speed still terrifies defenders, his finishing is ruthless, and he knows how to show up in big moments. Add the storyline of finally in Madrid colors, and you get narrative weight plus statistical backing. For many, Mbappé has been due for a Ballon d'Or for years, and this season gives him another shot to finally cash that in. Now, while those three are frontrunners, there's a whole supporting cast that shouldn't be ignored. Jude Bellingham has been immense at Real Madrid, controlling games like he's been playing top-flight football for decades. Erling Haaland keeps doing robot things and scoring goals for fun, even if his critics say they're all tap-ins, they're tap-ins that win matches. Raphinha has been PSG's heartbeat in midfield, controlling tempo and stitching play together in ways that only real football nerds appreciate, but trust me, voters notice. And then there's Raphinha, who deserves his own spotlight because this is where things get fun. Raphinha wasn't even being mentioned as a favorite at the start of the season. Fast forward to now, and fans everywhere are rallying behind him. He's been decisive for Barcelona, scoring goals that change games, pulling off dribbles that break ankles, and bringing that Brazilian flair that people fall in love with. On social media, Raphinha is everywhere. Fan polls on Reddit, Twitter, and Instagram have his name trending above players like Mbappé or even Yamal in certain circles. People are calling him the People's Ballon d'Or. And honestly, it's hard not to see why. He represents the kind of player fans connect with. Not always the most statistically dominant, but the one that makes you jump off your seat. In a year where the frontrunners are split and nobody is a runaway favorite, that groundswell of support could become something real. This is where the clash gets interesting. On one side, you've got the bookmakers and pundits leaning toward Dembélé, Yamal, and Mbappé. On the other side, you've got the fans screaming Raphinha. And let's be real, football history is full of moments when the experts said one thing, but the people demanded another. Remember when Luka Modric won the Ballon d'Or and half the world didn't see it coming? That could happen again here. The reasons fans push for Raphinha aren't just emotional. His big game impact has been massive. His style makes highlight reels explode, and he's provided Barcelona with consistency at moments when the team needed it most. He's not the safe pick, but sometimes the Ballon d'Or doesn't go to the safe pick. Now, let's break down why the frontrunners have the edge anyway. Trophies matter, and voters take them seriously. Dembélé has PSG dominance, Yamal has Barca moments, Mbappé has Madrid momentum. Consistency under pressure matters too, and Yamal especially has shocked everyone by being clutch in situations where teenagers usually crumble. Availability matters as well. If you missed half the season with injuries, it hurts your chances, and this is why Dembélé's relative health this season is so significant. Then there's reputation. Mbappé's name carries weight, whether people like it or not. And finally, hype. You might roll your eyes, but TikTok edits, Twitter memes, Instagram reels, they all create energy that filters into the Ballon d'Or conversation. That's why Yamal and Raphinha are being pushed so hard by their fan bases. Of course, all of them have weaknesses too. Dembélé could be seen as inconsistent in the past, and one great season may not be enough to erase that in every voter's mind. Yamal is still young, and some might argue maybe next year rather than this one. Mbappé, as great as he is, might be suffering from voter fatigue. He's been in the conversation for years, and voters sometimes want a fresher story. And Raphinha's challenge is obvious. His numbers might not be as insane as the others, and some voters care about raw stats more than vibes. But here's where I think this gets fun. If I ask me to put money on it, I'd say Ousmane Dembélé is the most likely to win because he has stats, style, redemption story, and silverware in his pocket. Lamine Yamal is close because if the voters want to reward a prodigy rewriting history, he's the clear pick. Mbappé will always be in the top three because of his star power and Madrid effect. But if there's a name that could upset everything and break the internet, it's Raphinha. Imagine the scenes if he lifts the Ballon d'Or. Barcelona fans would go wild, Brazilian fans would throw parties, Twitter would explode, and everyone who voted for him in fan polls would scream, "I told you so!" So maybe, just maybe, the people's voice is going to matter this year. Maybe the Ballon d'Or 2025 won't just be about the safe pick or the expected frontrunner. Maybe it's about rewarding flair, underdog spirit, and moments that made football fun again. What do you think? Is this going to be Dembélé's redemption crowning moment, Yamal's early coronation, Mbappé's long-awaited glory, or Raphinha's underdog shock win? Drop your prediction in the comments. I want to see your hot takes, your arguments, your debates. Smash the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, share it with your football group chats, and subscribe to Prime Goals TV because next week we'll all be watching history unfold. One thing is for sure, whoever wins, football fans will be arguing about it for months.